Every night, I smeared mud all over my girlfriend's feet. Sprinkle another pound of flour. Then he immediately pretended to sleep, and she wakes up every night at 2 a.m. She tore off a strand of my hair and sneaked out, so I followed the footprints she left on the ground. But unexpectedly, just as I was about to find out what she was going to do, but on the roadside, he encountered a little girl about to be hit and thrown by a large truck. At the moment when 1,000 troops were about to strike, I rushed over and saved her, but I was knocked 10 meters away. Barely alive. Just as my heart was about to stop beating, a cold mechanical voice rang in my mind. Divine Howl system binding successful. 100 billion in Divine Howl funds have been deposited into the host, Yichuan. Black card under his name. Obtain the gold copper skill. Gain insight into the value of all things. See through people's hearts. Obtained Kunquan Grandmaster level skill. Capable of fighting against 100 men. I suddenly opened my eyes. It feels like this is inside the body now. Filled with a power never before. You can even see and hear from 5 kilometers away. A Macbark with chicken wings. In less than 2 minutes, the black Macbark was right in front of him. A long straight strip, her eyebrows and legs, wrapped in black stockings, rushed down. He rushed out into the crowd like a madman. Dignified. Auntie. The girl I saved suddenly burst into tears. The woman rushed over and pulled Tang Tang into her arms. After confirming that Tang Tang was only scratched, she randomly looked up at me. His eyes were filled with deep gratitude. Sir. Thank you for saving Tang Tang. I am Shen Yunshu from the Shen Group. May I ask what you need me to do? My Shen family would not be willing to go bankrupt. Yichuan stared at the woman in front of him. Her information was displayed on the retina. Age 25. Identity. General Manager of Shen Group. His net worth exceeds 800 billion. If only it had been before today. This was supposed to be Yichuan's best chance to turn things around in this city. Climbing up to the Shen family demanded a huge sum of money. Even if Yichuan currently owns 10 billion, he couldn't even keep up with the leader of the Shen family. But Yichuan only glanced at him quietly. He said, no need, then disappear into the rainy night. Shen Yunshu watched Yichuan's back. Then he said to the assistant behind him, I want to be within 3 minutes. Know all his information. He is my benefactor. I, Shen Yunshu, will never let him disappear just like that. Meanwhile, Yichuan returned home. He fixed his gaze on the 2 people on the wall. Yichuan's gold and copper. The wing retraction function activated. She soon found out. The mastermind behind her parents' deaths. It was the stepmother Qian Yulon and her girlfriend Zhao Mengyao. Sneak out every night. But it was to meet a rich second-generation heir. Very good. So let's start by dealing with my stepmother, Qian Yulon. Then go find Zhao Mengyao. She wanted Zhao Mengyao to be transferred to that rich second-generation heir she had been transferred. They couldn't even deliver food. All they could do was become a bystander begging along the streets. Early the next morning, Yichuan stepped onto the Yi family villa. Yichuan had just entered the Yi family villa. Then he heard noise coming from the hall, and Qian Yulon's hysterical screams. Let that kid Yichuan's previous heir transfer the loss. When the time comes, this villa will be mine. A slap interrupted his crying. Yichuan pushed open the door and entered. The living room was a complete mess. Qian Yulon, who is usually arrogant, with hair down and kneeling on the ground. A bright red handprint was streaked on his face. In the center of the living room sat Brother Dao, the underground loan shark chief of Jiangcheng. Behind him were 4 large hands holding steel pipes. Yichuan Xian listened and didn't come in. He walked toward the center of the living room as if he were nothing. Brother Dao saw that Yichuan ignored him. He shouted instantly. He reached out to slap Yichuan's face. Yo, this is that useless young master. Yichuan suddenly turned to look at Brother Dao. His information also appeared in Yichuan's mind. Goal. Morning Biao. Combat power 65. Ordinary people at their peak. Weaknesses. Extremely superstitious. And also suffered from a strange illness. Every midnight, my heart aches sharply. Yichuan didn't move. He simply said softly, if your hand touches my face, you will never be able to pick up chopsticks again in this lifetime. And your heart aches. Does it flare up every night at midnight? You? Skilled in physiognomy. Brother Dao's hand suddenly froze. Even his subordinates didn't know this secret. How did this kid know? Yichuan did not respond. He headed straight for the ruined Bogu house, searching for a purple sandalwood box left behind by his mother. Qian Yulon saw that Daoj didn't make a move. Immediately get up and call for elimination. Dao Ji. He was the first in line to inherit, forcing him to sign and transfer the ownership. This house is yours. Dao Ji's eyes flickered. In the face of tens of millions in debt, that little fear is nothing. His expression darkened. Brothers, hold this kid in check. No signing today, just one of his fingers. Immediately after, the four thugs swung steel pipes and charged toward Yi Chuan. Yi Chuan sighed with his back to them. Why do you have to force me to get rough? Before he finished speaking, he spun around abruptly. A simple side kick. Bang! The thug charging at the front, for example, being hit by a truck, flying backward 5 meters, slam hard against the wall. He fainted on the spot. The whole game crashed. The remaining 3 thugs managed to stop the car by force. He swallowed hard. Yi Chuan withdrew his leg, found it by the coffee table, the wooden box left behind by that mother. He wiped away the dust. He turned to look at Qian Yulon, who was already deadly. Qian Yulon, you didn't always want this house, and the Yi family business? Then I'll give it to you now. Qian Yulon was stunned. Yi Chuan looked at Tagari. A smile curled at the corner of his mouth. He pulled out the black bank card. Did you bring the card reader? Belt? Brought it. A total of 58 million. Yi Chuan tossed the card over. Farmed them all. Wild joy burst forth in Qian Yulon's eyes. This fool was actually willing to pay off his debt. He immediately started trembling. Yi Chuan, at least you know what's good for you. Since you paid the money for me, we will be clear. Hurry up and get lost. This house is supporting me now. But the next second, Yi Chuan's words sent him straight to hell. I've paid off your debt for you. He looked at Qian Yulon with a playful gaze. This money is the cost of buying this claim. From now on, you have to pay me back. Qian Yulon's smile froze. Dao Ji immediately realized. He immediately changed his attitude. He glared fiercely at Qian Yulon. Boss Qian. Now your creditor is young Master Yi. By the way, young Master Yi, do you think I can do something for you? Do you need me to collect interest for you? Brother Dao decided to hold Yi Chuanji tightly and calculate Dafu. Yi Chuan carried the stage box to the door. He stopped and looked at Qian Yulon. I'll give you only 2 choices. First, move out of the villa immediately. Leave with nothing but nothing. Not even a single piece of clothing is allowed to be taken away. Second, pay off the debt you owe me within 3 days. If you add 1 more second, I'll call the police. I will sue you for cheating on your precepts. Embezzlement of public funds. If you don't supervise Qian Yulon, completed on time, I will sue you for intentional harm. There was surveillance footage at the entrance. These sins are enough to make you wear down your prison. After saying that, Yi Chuan strode out of the villa. Behind him came Qian Yulon's heart-wrenching sobs, and Dao Ji's group started making a loud, clear chatter. Listening to these voices, Yi Chuan stood under the sunlight. He felt completely refreshed, but in the next second, the system has issued a new task. Please spend 100 million within 2 hours. Failure as punishment randomly deducts a certain physical function from the host. For example, forever 3 seconds. Yi Chuan looked at this punishment. The corner of his mouth twitched. System. You're pretty ruthless, but it costs money. This is probably the easiest task in the world. Yi Chuan hailed a taxi. He headed straight to Jiangcheng Dingxi to play SKP. Yi Chuan just got out of the car. A red Ferrari, with a loud roar, stopped in front of him. The car window rolled down. It was his ex-girlfriend, Zhao Mengyao. He took off his sunglasses. His eyes were full of contempt. Yo? Isn't this Yi Chuan? I heard you were kicked out of your home to deliver food. How did it end up in such a high-end place? HMPH, the security guards here don't let beggars get angry. Back when the Yi family was in trouble, Zhao Moyao quickly shook Yi Chuan off. She switched sides to the arms of a rich second-generation heir. Yi Chuan looked at him. Not only did he not get angry, instead, he smiled. Just in time, spending money on tasks and still missing an audience. Yes, come beg. Yi Chuan straightened his ceremonial cuff. A radiant smile. But today, what I wanted wasn't rice. It's the entire mall. At that moment, the car door opened. Zhao Mengyao linked arms with a meal to wear. A man in a 4-fold floral shirt walked down. The man glanced up and down at Yi Chuan with his green bean-like eyes, his face full of sighs. Yao Yao, this is your ex-boyfriend who delivers food. The pretty boy looks pretty good. Unfortunately, he was broke. The air conditioning here is charged by the minute. Is it enough to brag for 10 minutes after sending 1 bus? Zhao Mengyao linked arms with the man, laughing so broadly that the flowers bloomed in confusion. Yi Chuan, let me introduce it to you. This is my current husband. Sun Haoyu. His family was in the building materials business. His net worth is several hundred million. He deliberately emphasized the words several hundred million several times. She looked at Yi Chuan with a provocative gaze. It seemed she was hoping to see inferiority and anger on his face, or an expression of utter embarrassment. However, he was disappointed. Yi Chuan just stood there calmly. His gaze was indifferent, as if he were watching the air on either side. Step aside. Yi Chuan stepped forward. His tone was flat. Giving face but not knowing your shame. Sun Haoyu was enraged by Yi Chuan's disregard. He took a step forward. Standing in front of Yi Chuan, he reached out to push Yi Chuan's shoulder, right in Sun Haoyu's hand. The moment he was about to touch Yi Chuan, a faint golden light flashed deep in Yi Chuan's pupils. Sun Haoyu's information was revealed. Goal: Sun Haoyu. Identity: a second-generation nouveau riche. The outer wall is dry inside. Current equipment: Versace shirt, authentic Richard Miller, RM0110-000 meter. High-quality imitations. The movement is a domestically produced single East movement. Bone riders with leather belts. Authentic. Financial statements for credit card overdrafts. Opening the east wall to fill the letter. To pursue Zhao Mengyao. Renting a Ferrari for a day. The rent has not yet been settled. After seeing the curve at the corner of Yi Chuan's mouth, it instantly became playful. He leaned closer to Sun Haoyu, his voice low but just enough for a few passers-by nearby to hear. What a pity. Richard Miller's carbon fiber case pattern is a random pattern. Your pattern is a bit too neat. Also, the genuine calendar window is sequential. It is now 1:59 a.m. How about we wait and see? At exactly 2 o'clock. Can you skip over this watch? Sun Haoyu's expression changed instantly. This watch was indeed a replica he had bought for 3,000 yuan, specifically to trick Zhao Mengyao, but he never expected that a food delivery guy could see through her at a glance. You're talking nonsense. I'm serious. You don't know anything. Sun Haoyu instinctively covered his wrist and shouted at Lady Se Li. Yao, ignore this mad dog. Let's go. Let's go to Hermes and buy you a bag. As he spoke, he grabbed the bewildered Zhao Mengyao and was about to rush into the mall, clearly trying to escape the scene. I happen to go in and buy something too. Let's go together. Yi Chuan followed behind at a leisurely pace. This is SKP. If you could afford a pair of socks here, I'd have taken them back then. Eat it. Remember your words. Yi Chuan stepped through the revolving door and entered the well-air-conditioned shopping mall lobby. The first floor of 4KP brings together the world's top film brands. The air was filled with the scent of expensive fragrances. Welcome. Bida Philly. Miss Yingbin at the door was shaking her luggage, but when they saw Sun Haoyu and Zhao swaying in closely, Miss Yingbin's eyes clearly lit up. Her smile grew even brighter. Sir. You are welcome. Sun Haoyu tried to reclaim the earlier scene. He deliberately spoke loudly. Take out the most expensive watch in your store. I want to pick one for my girlfriend. As he spoke, he shot Yi Chuan a provocative look. How? Even delivery workers come in to get a ride on the air conditioning. Be careful not to damage the glass counter. Even if I sold you, I couldn't afford to pay for it. Several sales consultants in the store. He perceptively gathered around Sun Haoyu. Meanwhile, Yi Chuan was left out of the spotlight. Only one had just graduated, a little girl wearing an internship badge. Hesitantly, he walked up to Yi Chuan. He handed over a glass of water. Sir? Hello? Is there anything I can do to help you? If you're just looking around, that's fine. The little girl's eyes were clear. He didn't show any disdain because of Yi Chuan's attire. I don't watch. Yi Chuan took a sip of water. Faintly. Did you hear that? She didn't look. I told you she was just here to ride the air conditioning. Security guard. Why let everyone in? Zhao Mengyao heard this. He immediately started eating dumplings and made a sound. A senior lady walked over. Tone and voice. Sir. If you don't buy anything, please do not occupy our reception resources. There's a rest area over there. That gooey jie in Yi Chuan's brow. Instead, he looked at the intern girl in front of him. He smiled slightly. He then pointed to the starry sky at the center of the counter. He then glanced over the entire row of Nautiluses nearby. This starry sky, and this row, I want them all. Quiet. The entire venue fell into a deathly silence. Yao, did you hear that? She said she wanted it all. All of this together is worth over 20 million. Is this kid crazy out of his mind delivering food? Sun Haoyu burst into exaggerated laughter. Sir? Please don't joke around. This is Bida Philly, not a wet market. If you keep talking nonsense, I'm about to call the security guard. The senior sister's expression instantly darkened. He felt that the night boat was causing trouble. Sir? That Starry Sky 6102p. The price is 2.8 million yuan. And you need to queue for VIP review qualifications. The intern girl was also terrified. He stammered. Qualified? Yi Chuan took it from the pocket of his jeans that cost just a few dozen yuan. He pulled out a black card. Gently place it on a glass counter. It emitted a crisp sound. Go swipe your card. Password, 6/8. If it doesn't work. I ate this counter. Yi Chuan's voice was not loud, but she carries an irresistible sense of wirework. The intern girl's hands trembled. He took the card ball and looked at the store manager. The manager is a worldly middle-aged man. I've been watching night transmission all along. The moment he saw that black card, her pupils suddenly contracted into pin-like shapes. That is legendary. Centurion Palm Unlimited Black Gold Card. No? No, it is incorrect. This material is even more premium than the black gold card. There are only 10 of them worldwide. Supreme Dragon Card. Go farm quickly. No? Bring the pose machine over. I personally brushed it. Whoosh. Keep brushing. Who's trying to fool with a barbershop marriage card for a wedding card? Let's see what you can pull out. Sun Haoyu was still laughing. Pose and Tuden's voice at that moment, like God's judgment. The manager looked at the receipt, that dizzying bell that pierced the long worn. She almost knelt before Yi Chuan. Honorable sir. A transaction worth 28.5 million has been completed. We will pack these watches for you right away. May I ask if it will be delivered to your residence or what? No need. The store manager held the black card in both hands. A 90-degree bow. Their attitude was so humble it reached the dust. Yi Chuan casually took the 2.8 million Starry Sky watch. Wear it on your wrist. He shook it a little. Others. Find a bag to put it away. I want to carry it away. Straps. The manager was stunned. Watches worth tens of millions are packed with straps. Sun Haoyu and Zhao Mengyao also spoke the truth completely. How is this possible? Wasn't the Yi family bankrupt? Wasn't he kicked out of the house? When he swiped his card just now, he didn't even blink. Sun Haoyu felt his own face. It was as if someone had slapped him hard. It burned with pain. He was just showing off that 1.5 million family watch. He bought genuine goods worth over 20 million yuan in a flash. They even pack it up like buying cabbage. Zhao Mengyao was even more frantic in her pockets, looking at Yi Chuan's wrist, that dazzling starry watch. His guts were completely destroyed. Yi Chuan. Zhao Menyao's voice trembled, trying to force a charming smile. She shook off Sun Haoyu's hand. He moved closer to Yi Chuan. So you were testing me? Actually, I never forgot you. That Sun Haoyu was relentlessly chasing after me. I get lost. Yi Chuan didn't even glance at him. Just one word was left out. Who just said he wanted to eat socks? He looked at Sun Haoyu, whose face was deathly pale. Sun Haoyu slammed his hind leg against the counter. What do you want to do? My dad is, but I'm not interested in your dad. Yi Chuan turned and walked out, passing by the one who knelt down beside him who looked down on her, pausing slightly. Sir? The commission from this order was entirely hers. Yi Chuan pointed at the 17th young girl. As for you, I don't hope to see you again next time I come. Understood? I'm firing you now. Xiaoshen, thank this gentleman quickly. Your commission today is enough to buy a house in Jiangcheng. Step out of paytechfully. Yi Chuan glanced at the system panel. He'd spent 28.5 million, with 71.5 million remaining. The time was 1 hour and 20 minutes. He walked straight into the Armani flagship store next door. Sir, do you need me to introduce you? All new models on this floor crash. Size L. Let's have 3. The few limited edition crocodile leather boxes from next door, used to store clothes, full set of sea mist masks, pack up 100 sets, deliver them to the brothers at the delivery station to wipe their hands. The next hour, the entire SKP mall was struck by an unprecedented earthquake. A mysterious tycoon dressed in luxury clothes, with the posture of sweeping through thousands of troops, massacre all the major luxury stores. He doesn't even look at the price, just one sentence. Swipe your card to pack up. The mall's general manager personally brought 20 security guards, following behind, specifically responsible for carrying things. Sun Haoyu and Zhao Mengyao, like two forgotten clowns. Dai followed behind. How could he possibly afford it? Zhao Mengyao dug her fingernails into her flesh. Her eyes were red. It must be an unlucky talent. I want to report him. Dear customers. Today, SKP will close half an hour early. There is a distinguished guest. I booked the rooftop Sky Garden restaurant and invited the renowned piano master Mr. Lang Lang. Live performance. The whole room erupted in an uproar. Yi Chuan stood at the escalator on the second floor. The corner of his mouth tickled slightly. This is also one of the systematically arranged consumption items. Just this one service fee cost 5 million yuan. He glanced at the system panel. Mission accomplished. Current spending amount, 10.5 million. Congratulations to the host for completing your first splurge achievement. Reward distribution. Cash rebate is a 10x strike. 1 billion in cash has been deposited into the account. The contract for the 51% share transfer of Jiangcheng SKP Mall has taken effect. Charm adds 10. Constitution increases by 10. Yi Chuan was momentarily stunned. SKP has become his. The mall's general manager received a call. Boss. Not knowing the boss had arrived, and thus failing to welcome from afar. I am Zhao Jiyuan, General Manager of SKP. You have acquired 51% of the group's shares. From now on. Here, you have the final say. That kneeling stunned everyone around him. Sun Haoyu was so frightened that he plopped down on the ground. Yi Chuan looked at Zhao Jiyuan, who was kneeling on the ground. Get up. Since I'm the boss. Then I will issue the first protective order now. He pointed towards Sun Haoyu and Zhao Mengyao not far away. These two people affect my mood while shopping. Throw them out. From now on, all SK-owned malls. These two were forbidden from setting foot even a single step. Also, the fake watch on the man's hand looked at Dian Xian. Help him pick it off. Strike. 20 security guards seemed to rush forward like waves. Let me go. No? My dad won't let you off. I am your favorite. Just you wait. Just you wait. Sun Haoyu kept shouting. The next second, he was pinned to the ground, forcibly pulling off the fake watch. He crushed it with one foot. The screams faded into the distance. Yi Chuan stood at the highest point of the escalator, overlooking this business empire that belongs to him. The phone rang. Unfamiliar number. Hey, is it Mr. Yi Chuan? I am Shen Yunshu. I heard you just bought SKP. I'm currently at the cafe downstairs from SKP. Shen Yunshu. So he had been here all along. Alright, I happen to be hungry too, but I don't drink coffee. I want to eat spicy hot pot. President Shen, are you kind of showing me some respect? Alright. As long as you are willing to see me, eat whatever you want. Yi Chuan hung up the phone, a radiant smile. It seems the upcoming games will be even more interesting. The night in Jiangcheng was like an unshakable tomb. From the old city to the bustle of Hengqing Street, burned out one bizarre hole after another. An old SLYTH Phantom with the Jiang A88888 license plate. Like a noble insulting a desperate noble. Carefully treading over the waterlogged road like a pit frog. Stopped in front of Pangsao spicy hot pot shop. Automatic door unfolding. Shen Yunshu walked out. Yi Chuan, sitting on a plastic red bench by the roadside, looked up. He was holding disposable chopsticks in his hand. How? President Shen finds it dirty. Dozens of designer shopping bags piled from SKP snow were stacked around him. Yi Chuan blew the dust off the plastic stool. Sit down. The beef meatballs here are the most chewy in all of Jiangcheng. Shen Yunshu took a deep breath. He sat down across from Yi Chuan. Mr. Yi is truly humorous. Shen Yunshu looked at Yi Chuan. I thought that a big shop with billions who casually bought SKP would have a better dining environment. Requirements. Money is meant to make life freer, not to shackle yourself. Order the dishes, President Shen. We promised you treat. But don't hesitate to order just because it's cheap. Shen Yunshu looked at the menu listing 2 yuan for finishing the work and 1 yuan for the kelp, feeling complicated. He had investigated Yi Chuan. 24 hours ago, he was still a food delivery worker working desperately in the rain for a few yuan. But now, sitting across from her, his aura was so deep that even a seasoned business veteran couldn't see through him. Just have a little. Shen Yunshu put down the menu. Mr. Yi, let's get down to business. About saving Tang Tang. And about your acquisition of SK1, Sure. Meals don't discuss official business. Not yet. The proprietress. 2 large bowls of mildly spicy food. Add more vinegar. Alright. Xiao Chuan, bring your girlfriend today. So beautiful. This girl looks thin. Eat more. This meal, sister-in-law, is treated. Shen Yunshu's face instantly flushed red to his ears. He waved his hand repeatedly. No? No? I am her. I am her creditor, Yi Chuan replied with a smile. He casually picked up the vinegar bottle. He poured a large ring into Shen Yunshu's bowl. Try it. The soul here lies in this vinegar. Yi Chuan crossed it off like that. Shen Yunshu's tense negotiation posture. Half of it was removed in an instant. He hesitated for a moment. He still picked up a piece of doll wood and put it in his mouth. Spicy, piping hot, sour, and cooked. A strong taste stimulation. He couldn't help but cough lightly. Tears were streaming down my face. Eat slowly. No one told you. Yi Chuan handed him a tissue. Shen Yunshu took the tissue. He wiped the corner of his mouth a bit embarrassedly. At that moment, he took off his usual routine, an indestructible armor, revealing a lively sense of everyday life. Shen Yunshu suddenly spoke up. His voice dropped a few degrees. Yi Chuan. Thank you. You not only saved Tang Tang. Also, actually, SKP has been stuck all along. Our company's advertising space contract renewal. If you hadn't acquired SKP, Shen Group's next month's starting salary product launch event, maybe it's just a sunroof. Yi Chuan was eating beef meatballs at the same time. He opened the golden cylinder at the same time. One clear red data layer. Stay above his head, pounding wildly. Target, Shen Yunshu. Identity, President of Shen Group. The current state is extremely anxious. At the end of its rope. Core Crisis 1, Capital Chain Breakdown. It was set up by rival Tianqin Capital to be killed. The funding gap reached 800 million yuan. Core Crisis 2, Internal Traitors. Design Director Zhu Peng has been bought out by Tianqin Capital. The plan is to reveal the core reserve price at tomorrow morning's bidding meeting. Core Crisis 3, sign a bet agreement with the Family Elders Council. If you can't earn a profit this quarter, he will be stripped of his CEO position. Forced to marry into the eldest son of Tianqin Capital. Countdown to the collapse, 12 hours. Yi Chuan paused his chewing motion. Tragic. Just too tragic. This is not a female CEO. It was practically Tang Monk's flesh roasted over a fire. Yi Chuan put down his chopsticks. He looked at her with a half smile. Forgive my bluntness. What you're worried about now, it probably isn't about the venue for the press conference. As far as I know. On your company's books. I'm afraid it even covers the rent for SKP's factory. You probably can't even come up with it. He stared intently at Yi Chuan. How do you know? The company's financial status is top secret. Even the deputy general manager didn't know. You are a corporate spy. I am your lifesaver. Not a spy. Yi Chuan pulled out a tissue. Naturally, I took his hand. Help him wipe the oil stains off the back of his hand. His fingers were long and warm. The moment it touched Shen Yunshu's icy skin, Shen Yunshu shrank back as if struck by electricity. But he didn't pull his hand back. And I don't just know you have no money. I also know the reason you're so miserable. It's because there's a ghost around you. Ghost? Shen Yunshu's face turned deathly pale. Just then, Shen Yunshu's phone vibrated wildly. Zhu Peng, design director of Caller Display. Shen Yunshu glanced at Yi Chuan. Yi Chuan made a gesture inviting him to weave. He answered the phone. Hello, Director Zhu. How is tomorrow's bid preparation? An anxious and guilty voice came from the other end of the line. Marshal. The device was just hacked. Design of the Oasis project. All were locked and destroyed. The backup hard drive is also broken. Shen Yunshu suddenly stood up. The movement was too large. He took the plastic red stool behind him. How is this possible? Our firewall is top-notch, and the backup disk is in your safe. How could that be? The phone slipped from Shen Yunshu's hand, fell to the ground. He felt as if several tails of bone had been drained from him, greedily wanting to sit down. But I forgot the stool had already flipped over, just as he was about to fall onto the grease-soaked ground. Yi Chuan supported him with one hand. The other phone calmly picked up the phone from the ground. He spoke to Director Li, who hadn't hung up yet. Pretty good acting. The Oscars owe you a little surprise. The person on the other end of the line was clearly stunned. Yi Chuan sneered coldly at the receiver. Who I am doesn't matter. What matters is this, Zhu Peng, you better pray now. The 20 million settlement allowance Tianqin Capital gave you, it's enough to buy you a decent wheelchair. After saying that, Yi Chuan hung up the phone directly. He threw the phone back on the table. Shen Yunshu leaned into Yi Chuan's arms. His whole body trembled. His gaze was hollow. At this point, she was no longer the iceberg CEO. She is a woman utterly helpless. All over. That was our last chance to turn things around. No design drafts. Tomorrow is a default. I want to acknowledge the Shen family and make sure they accept me. Why panic? Yi Chuan's voice. It stood out especially clearly in the noisy night market, calm yet carrying a reassuring magic. He straightened Shen Yunshu, hands placed on his shoulders, forcing him to look into his own eyes. If you run out of design drafts, you can draw more. If you lose money, you can earn it again, as long as the person is still alive. The game wasn't over yet. It was too late. Shen Yunshu's eyes were red. Tears welled up. Less than 10 hours remained. That was dozens of designers. After 3 months of hard work. Who says it's too late? Yi Chuan released his grip. He turned and picked up the pair of designer straps on the floor. Their eyes shimmered with the excitement of a hunter when they see their prey. Let's go. Go where? Go to your company. Since Zhu Peng said the data was ruined, then I'll let him see. What is a divine skill? Tonight, let's play a ghost-catching game. Half an hour later, Jiangcheng CBD reviews the group building. The entire building was brightly lit. The design department was in complete chaos. Dozens of designers are scratching their earplugs at computers with black screens. Someone was crying. Someone was cursing. Director Zhu Peng was standing in the center, pretending to direct technical staff for emergency repairs. But his peripheral vision kept drifting toward his watch. A hint of imperceptible pride was hidden at the corner of his mouth. As long as you get through tonight, tomorrow, Shen Yunshu will be overturned. He could take the money and become a deputy general manager at Natural Capital. Just then, a commotion came from the doorway. Mr. Shen has arrived. Zhu Peng immediately put on a look of heartbreak. He went up to meet them. Mr. Shen. You finally made it. I'm sorry for you. However, he did not see it. Shen Yunshu was breaking down in despair as expected. Shen Yunshu walked in, not paying attention, although the corners of his eyes were still a bit red, but his presence was even sharper than usual. And beside him, followed by someone wearing a mani, but the young man was holding a bag of spicy hot pot takeout boxes. Mr. Shen. This is it. Zhu Peng was momentarily stunned. I'm here to deliver food. Yi Chuan casually placed the bag of spicy hot pot on the conference table. Then he stopped and walked toward Zhu Peng. Zhu Peng was intensified by Yi Chuan's stare. This is President Shen. At a time like this, you still bring outsiders to cause trouble. Director Zhu. Has your acting really been a bit forced? Yi Chuan pointed to the row of computers with black screens. You say the server was hacked. All the data is destroyed, of course, Zhu Peng said with a hard time. The technical department is rushing to repair it. Really? Yi Chuan turned and walked over to a main control computer. His fingers quickly tapped several times on the keyboard. The host uses god-level hacking techniques. Permanent. Currently infiltrating Ruyuan network. Data flow is being tracked. Restoring the underlying code. The original black frame of garbled text. Suddenly, it started pounding wildly. The green code is dazzlingly fast. The technical supervisor nearby was stunned. What kind of hand speed is this? This is writing a reverse tracking program. In less than a minute, Pa. Yi Chuan pressed enter. The previously pitch-black large screen instantly lit up, but what was shown was not a blueprint. Instead, it was a replay of surveillance footage, and a detailed screenshot of the chat log. The scene showed Zhu Peng half an hour ago. Insert a USB drive into the server host, and they are giving one message from someone with the note Tiansheng President Zhao. The whole venue is a scene of 4 seasons. All designers' eyes are sharp as knives. Chishu Shua Shui stabbed Zhu Peng. Zhu Peng's face instantly turned the color of pig liver. This is what He Cheng did. This is slander. Mr. Shen, you don't believe me. Trust the delivery guy. Shen Yunshu looked at the big screen. The heart is like the edge of a blade. Security. Put this sneaky food on me. Call the police immediately. Yes, the security guard, already unable to tolerate any customers, rushed forward. Shen Yunshu, how dare you catch me, without my design team? Tomorrow, you'll be dead just as well. I see what crime you're doing. When Zhu Peng was dragged away, still laughing hysterically, they did catch the mole. It was a relief, but the blueprints are truly gone. The office fell into a desperate silence once again. That one, the technical director asked timidly. This great master. Since you can restore the surveillance, can the blueprints still be recovered? It is physical shattering. It can't be restored. Yi Chuan shook his head. Everyone's heart sank to the bottom of the valley. However, Yi Chuan suddenly changed the subject. He walked over to the main seat at the conference table and sat down. He opened a box of spicy candy. He said casually, those junk blueprints. If it's ruined, so be it. Bidding with that kind of thing. It was simply embarrassing. What did you say? The assistant director of the design department was furious. That is our death. Yi Chuan ignored the angry crowd. Instead, he looked at Shen Yunshu. Is there a paintbrush? And paper? Shen Yunshu was momentarily stunned. Instinctively, he handed over his tablet and stylus. What are you going to do? Yi Chuan took the pen. Earn a beautiful stroke in your hand. At this moment, in his mind, the system is upgraded once again. Detected host facing a divine level rescue reward request. Redeem goods. Top advertising creation images for the future. 2035 edition. Exchange. In Yi Chuan's eyes, countless colors that transcend this era flooded in instantly. Lines and composition. It was a visual shock from the future. Since you think it's the work of hard work, Yi Chuan spoke as he spoke. He said calmly, then tonight, I'll teach you what is true art. The next hour, everyone in the group's design department is examined. It underwent a collapse and reshaping of his worldview. The man they saw as a delivery man. It's like a humanoid AI printer. His hand speed was so fast that the afterimage appeared. Each piece is exquisitely beautiful. An extremely explosive concept art, born on screen. Light and shadow perspective. This is a perfect blend of cyberpunk family and national recruitment. This is the handling of light and shadow. Oh my God, this is a masterpiece. Just moments ago, he was questioning Yi Chuan's assistant. At this moment, he was already kneeling beside Yi Chuan, handing him water. When the final main visual was finished, Yi Chuan put down his pen and rubbed his wrist. On the screen was a painting titled Sea of Rebirth. On the ruins in the scene, a mechanical rose bloomed in the torrential rain. That strange scene resembled Yi Chuan himself. Also, it was just like Shen Yunshu in a desperate situation. Shen Yunshu looked at the painting, tears silently streaming down his face. Yi Chuan. He turned his head and looked at the man who was eating cold spicy hot pot with his head down. At that moment, his mental defenses were completely shattered. Collapse. Don't dare to make too much. Yi Chuan swallowed and played together. The drawing is done. Next, it's time to wind down the net. Tomorrow morning's bidding meeting. I want that Tianqian capital to swallow it up. He spat it out with interest. He stood up, walked to the floor-to-ceiling window, and overlooked the night view of Jiangcheng. President Shen, do you dare to play with me for a big game? Shen Yunshu walked over to his side, standing shoulder to shoulder, her eyes free of confusion, only a determined light. Why would I dare not? Even if he lost. At worst, I'll go deliver food with you. Yi Chuan smiled. Delivering takeout, I'm afraid that's not allowed. He turned his head. After all, I was in the passenger seat. Only be the boss's wife. Jiangcheng International Convention and Exhibition Center. Today is a landmark project in Jiangcheng New District. The final bidding day supporting the future commercial complex. This is a piece of fatty meat worth tens of billions. It is about who can become the commercial dominant of Jiangcheng for the next decade. A flashy fluorescent green-blue thin genie. With a thunderous roar, he brazenly parked in the VIP designated parking space. He even cut the line. The car door was found with semi-oxygen. One stepped down, dressed in a white suit. A young man with shiny, glossy hair combed. Wu Zishuan, the heir to Tianqian capital. Following behind him was Zhu Peng, his face full of affection. The former design director who was just released on bail last night. Wu Shong. Rest assured, Uncle Shen Yun's side was completely finished. Zhu Peng had two large dark circles under his eyes. The swelling on his face hadn't gone down yet, but his eyes were unusually excited. I held hands and deleted data. Even hard drives are being dismissed with forced words. Unless the big boss's money descends to earth. Otherwise, he would have to embarrass himself today with a blank exam paper. Well done. When the Shen family went bankrupt. That proud woman Shen Yunwei. Isn't it all because of Renwo Rooney? As he spoke, a black Audi A6 slowly entered the groove. That was Shen Yunshu's ride. Compared to the surrounding supercars, this car seems too low-key. It was even somewhat shabby. Wu Zishuan whistled the livestock. He swaggered with Zhu Peng and hid in front of the car door. Yo! Isn't this our beautiful Shen? The car door opened. Shen Yunshu walked down. After a night of torment and reconstruction, his form today was surprisingly good. Those peach blossom eyes no longer hold the anxiety of yesterday. And behind him, in the driver's seat, a young man stepped down. It was Yi Chuan. Today, to cooperate with Shen Yunshu, he deliberately changed into a dark grey business casual outfit. No tie was worn, yet it exudes a relaxed and lazy sense of nobility. He was carrying a silver metal password box, unsurpassed. A good dog doesn't block the way. Chen Yunshu spoke coldly. Chen Yunshu, facing death and still stubbornly arguing. I heard your design department was crying and wailing last night. Even the servers were burned. How? Today, I plan to announce my withdrawal outright. Then ask me to acquire your company. He greedily scanned Chen Yunshu's figure. Lower your voice, actually. As long as you come to my room tonight, I can raise the purchase price for you a bit. Before he could speak, a hand suddenly reached out. Like swatting flies, he waved in front of Wu Zishuan. That person over there. Reduce bad breath. My boss is getting swept up. Who the hell are you? This is also where you can speak. Just a mere driver. On the rooftop. This was the food delivery guy from last night. It's his jinx. It ruined our good plans. Delivery guy. Wu Zishuan laughed, laughing so hard he was leaning over. Chen Yun, are you crazy? Bringing a food delivery guy to participate in bidding for projects worth billions. How? Are you planning to deliver spicy hot pot to the judges? Want to bribe them? He opened the golden copper. Goal, Wu Zishuan. Status, extremely confident. And there is a strong need for 2 ranks. Personal belongings, bid-based price documents, and was hidden inside to the east. A bottle of blue pills. Bribed the jury. The chief judge, Professor Liu, agreed that the code would be touching the nose. Transfer records are stored in his encrypted phone. Buying from fellow judges is kind of interesting. Wu Shao, right? Did the sea dog pills I ate last night expire? I see your forehead is darkened. Today, there might be a bloody disaster. And Professor Liu's old blood mock Sebastian. The mouth is quite large. Your little tea money. Be careful of your stomach and protect the wolf. Wu Zishuan's smile instantly froze. Her pupils contracted sharply. How does this kid know about Kaigumaru? More importantly, knowing about Professor Liu's situation. Before he could react, Yichuan was already holding Chen Yunshu's arm. Like avoiding a pile of trash, he stopped and walked toward the elevator shaft. Yichuan, what did you just tell him? Why did his face look so grim? It's nothing. He calculated his own connections. Mr. Shen, just talk about your PPT later. Leave the rest to me. The atmosphere in the bidding hall quickly cools down. 5 judges sat upright on the podium. The bald old man in the middle. It was none other than Professor Liu, an authority in the field. The audience was filled with leading figures from Jiangqing's business world. A media reporter from Yangtze River Short Cannon. It even filled the rear seats. Now, let's invite Tianqing Capital to present the proposal. As the host finished speaking, Wu Zishuan led Zhu Peng onto the stage. Although Yichuan had startled him earlier, but at home, Wu Zishuan returned to his arrogant and domineering demeanor. Dear judges, distinguished guests, the solution brought by Tianqing Capital is Urban Oasis. We will build one, integrating ecology, a sky garden integrating environmental protection and technology. As the PPT flipped pages, the audience erupted in uproar. That was our original plan. He clung tightly to the hem of his clothes. Knuckles turned pale. That's right. Although Zhu Peng deleted the original Su family file, but he brought the photocopies to Wu Zishuan. Now, the city oasis has changed its name. The content is simply something. A pixel-level copy of the previous design draft from Shen Group. Chen Yunshu gritted his teeth. This double helix structure sky corridor. Our original patents. This glass curtain wall utilizes photosynthetic functions. It is also our exclusive idea. Original. Yichuan from the audience sneered. He took out his phone. System instructions. Hacking into the venue's projection system. Connection successful. Since you want to play plagiarism, then I'll let you copy it clearly. This is the result of years of effort by our team. Absolutely one of a kind. Just then, the big screen suddenly flickered. It turned into a huge split-screen comparison interface. On the left is the urban oasis being concealed. On the right was actually a video reviewing the group's internal meeting minutes from 3 months ago. The whole venue instantly memorized everything. Immediately after, an uproar erupted. Damn! Isn't this a review of the group's previous plans? Even the color scheme is the same. This must have been stolen directly. Tianqing Capital, such a big company, actually pulled this trick. On stage, Zhu Peng looked like a duck with its neck grabbed. The sound abruptly stopped. He stared at the big screen in terror. Cold sweat instantly soaked his back. What is going on? Who switched the screen? Close it quickly. What are you doing? Believe it or not, I'll kill you. I didn't move. The computer is out of control. It seems like I've been poisoned. Before they could fumble and unplug the power, suddenly, A line of blood-red characters popped up on the big screen. Mu Ximing the thief. The original creator is dead, not because you can only pick up trash. Then the screen went black. Everything returned to normal. Yi Chuan sat in the audience, hidden behind Gong Yuming, put away his phone. He also played a mint candy that Shen Yunshu had brought him. Does this count as a broadcast accident? Shen Yunshu stared in shock at the scene. The jade in his heart was swept away. Yi Chuan chewed the candy pieces. This is called warm-heartedness. Look at Professor Liu. His face turned green. Just as expected, Professor Liu at the judges' table was as if he was sitting in a precious seat. Originally, he had taken the money to give Tiansheng a high score. Now, the plagiarism with solid evidence is right in front of hundreds of people. If he dared to respond, tomorrow, his reputation will be ruined. Professor Liu braced himself and picked up the microphone. Hey, Tiansheng Capital's plan is seriously controversial. For now, let's set on the next Shen group. Wu Zishuan slunk off the stage. Kid, it's your doing, right? Just you wait. Once you get out this door, I'll make you look down the street. This is the attitude you have when asking for help. Remember to bring extra tissues later. Afraid you'll cry too badly. Shen Yunshu took a deep breath and stood up. At this moment, all eyes in the arena were focused on him. There was sympathy, and some were watching the show. There are also doubts. After all, that recent car crash farce. This has made everyone curious about Su's new plan. Shen Yunshu walked up to the stage. No USB drive. I didn't bring any paper materials. He simply stood quietly in the center of the podium. The light shone on him, like a queen about to be crowned. Everyone. Shen Yunshu's voice was clear and resolute. Just now, everyone saw the so-called urban oasis. That's right. That was once a scrapped manuscript for our Shen group. Why is it considered a wasted draft? Because it is too outdated. The whole room erupted in an uproar. Although that plan was suspected of plagiarism, but it is definitely top tier in the industry. To avoid wasting everyone's time, Assistant Yi, let's get started. Yi Chuan nodded. He opened the silver metal box, but he did not take out the documents. Instead, he took out a black crystal about the size of a fist. This is a premium system redemption. Portable projectors across all models. 2035 edition. Priced at 5 million yuan. Yi Chuan placed the crystal center stage. What is that? The judges craned their necks. The next second, a ghostly blue beam shot up into the sky, spread instantly. The entire hall of the convention center was enveloped. The once bright venue instantly fell silent. Instead, it was a floating one in midair, a vast and realistic virtual city. No longer a rigid PPT, it's no longer just a flat rendering. Everyone seemed to instantly travel through time and space, step into a cyberpunk-style futuristic city. Huge neon signs flashed overhead. You can even see the expressions of virtual pedestrians walking down the street. And at the very center of it all, a building like a blooming mechanical lotus, slowly spinning. That is the new solution for Shusha, rebirth of Lianen. Oh my god. What kind of technology is this? Screw i3D. No? This is the full palace projection. I saw it. This design is absolutely explosive. Compared to this, that city oasis from earlier, it's practically a rural outhouse. The whole venue erupted. The reporters sealed the same Anton shutter. The flash illuminated the scene as if it were daytime. Shen Yunshu stood within that huge virtual lotus, like a fairy among flowers. He reached out his hand, gently toggled the virtual interface. The entire building instantly disassembled and reassembled. Inside the show, the breathtaking commercial ecosystem flow. We do not define the future. We create the future. There was no particular choice at all. This is a massacre, a dimensional strike from the same dimension. Professor Liu, who had just wanted to pick a fight, at this moment, his mouth dropped open. Even dentures are about to fall out. In the face of such a miracle, if he dared to speak ill of her, it was probably tore apart by the passionate crowd at the scene. I give it a perfect score. This is a work of art. This is a masterpiece of the art era. Another judge stood up excitedly and applauded. Applause thundered like thunder, and endured for a long time without ceasing. Wu Zishuan's face in the audience turned ashen, soft and covetous on the chair. He knew it was over. No matter how much money he has, no matter how strong the relationship, faced with such absolute overwhelming strength, it all became a joke. All right. Shen Yunshu looked at the frenzied crowd below. Her eyes were slightly red. He looked at Yi Chuan. He toyed with the crystal worth 5 million in his hand. She winked at him. He made a verbal scar. The boss lady is impressive. Bidding ended. The Shen Group already holds an absolute advantage. Secured future support projects. As soon as the news broke, Shen's stock price, which had previously hit the daily limit down, instantly pulled out a straight one-character board. Limit up. Mr. Shen, may I ask about holographic technology? Shen Yunshu struggled to set up nets in several crowds, searching for Yi Chuan, but the greatest hero was not at this moment. Seeing traces of him, behind the exhibition center, Yi Chuan was leaning against the wall smoking. Kneeling before him, one was a nose. Zhu Peng, with a swollen and bruised face, and Wu Zixuan, trembling with fear, stood around them with more than a dozen people dressed in black shirts. Wearing sunglasses, the iconic burly man was led by Daoj, who had just surrendered last night, and was now under Yi Chuan's command. Security Brigade Leader, Young Master Yi, I was wrong. I will never be Mount Tai. At this moment, Wu Zixuan had no trace of arrogance left. He looked at the steel pipe as thick as a wrist in Brother Dao's hand. She was so scared she wet her pants. Spare me. I am the only one enlightened from the Wu family. Whatever you want, I'll give you everything. Yi Chuan exhaled a smoke ring. He crouched down. Money. Do you think I'm short on money? Yi Chuan smiled. Take out a check. He filled in a string of numbers. He threw it right in Wu Zixuan's face. That's 10 million. Consider it compensation for emotional distress from your earlier comment about delivering food. Of course, you should compensate me. It's not me giving it to you. Wu Zixuan was stunned. Me alone, yeah. I'm not short of money, but I hate when people owe me money. Brother Dao, teach Mr. Wu how to write an IOU. Interest, huh? Just calculate it at the rate he loses in Macau. Alright, young Master Yi, don't worry, I'm familiar with this too. Dao Ji Ning smiled as he approached Yi Chuan. He stood up and ignored the screams behind him. He had just stepped out of the alley. The phone rang. Yi Chuan. Where are you? The Qin Palace banquet was about to begin. You are the protagonist. If you don't come, I won't start the banquet. The Qin Palace banquet was a no-go. I don't like that kind of occasion. Yi Chuan looked at the CBD building in the distance. The Shen group is rolling in on the advertisement refusal. Mr. Shen. Don't forget our promise. Save the front passenger seat for me. Shen Yunshu was silent on the other end of the line for 2 seconds. Yi Chuan, do you want to be the driver? This was a phrase that was almost a confession. Yi Chuan was momentarily stunned. Suddenly, the system in his mind emitted a piercing red alarm. Warning, warning, detected host overuse of future technology. This caught the attention of the Dark World Organization. An S-level crisis arrived. The world's top assassin organization Black Mamba takes orders. Target, Yi Chuan bounty, $100 million. Employer, Wu family, father of Wu Zixuan. Countdown 30 minutes later. The first wave of assassinations will reach the battlefield. Old dog of the Wu family, hit the little one, whitened the old one. He spoke to Shen Yunshu on the other end of the phone. Yunshu celebration banquet cancelled. Go home immediately. Lock the doors and windows, and move all the people who cut the knife to the area around your villa. No matter what sounds you hear, don't come out. It's fine. Yi Chuan looked up into the distance. The black helicopter circling in the sky. It's just that some dirt needs to be cleaned up. This time. I want the entire underground world of Jiangcheng to know. Who is the true king? In that old industrial area with demolition. But the air seemed to freeze into 1,000 pieces. The black helicopter did not open fire directly. Instead, it was like a circling emergency rescue force. After circling for 2 weeks, hovering a kilometer away, mobile abandoned rooftop of an abandoned building, the night boat stood at an empty crossroads. The cigarette between his fingertips had burned to its limit. Come out. Yi Chuan casually mentioned the place of flying smoke as a top international assassin organization. Should I still hide in the gutter like a mouse? The surroundings were deathly silent. Suddenly, a faint sound of something breaking through the air rang out, like a sigh from the god of death. If it were an ordinary person, at this moment, the specially made armor-piercing round had already lifted the crown of his head. But Yi Chuan is no ordinary person. In his golden copper vision, that bullet that came at triple the force. At this moment, It was trailing a long thermal imaging smoke, slow as a snail. Yi Chuan didn't even move his feet. He just tilted his head slightly. The magnitude is so small it can be almost negligible. The bullet glistened past his fever. It pierced hard behind him. That concrete pillar was inside. A deep pit as big as a stubborn mouth was dug out. Is that all there is to it? Yi Chuan looked up. His gaze crossed a distance of 500 meters. He pinpointed that exactly onto that one. A sniper hiding behind a billboard. Probably Hyman. That's all there is to it. The top floor of an abandoned building 500 meters away. A sniper with a designated additional shot. Through a brief scope, looking at the one still standing in place. He even pointed this way. The man who has ended upright. Cold sweat instantly dried up on the combat uniform. Report to the captain. Target number 1 dodged. Repeat. He dodged. That was the M200 sniper rifle. 500 meters away. How is this possible? Shut up. Group B. Group C takes action. And killed him at close range. Don't give him a chance to catch his breath. Received. As the order was given, in the darkness around the husband's night zone, in an instant, 12 black ghostly shadows shot out. They wear full exoskeleton tactical armor, holding a tactical submachine gun with a silencer, and high-frequency vibration daggers. Movements are neat and the clothes are slashed, like a pack of silent wolves. Yi Chuan was closing in from all directions. Yi Chuan stood at the center of the encirclement. There was not a trace of color on his face. Instead, he showed a bloodthirsty excitement. System. I want to buy something. Detected host in S-class combat environment. Mall intelligent recommendation has started. Absolute defensive shield. One time. Priced at 50 million yuan. It can withstand all attacks except nuclear bombs. Lasts for 10 minutes. Terminator T-800 experience card. 1 hour. Priced at 100 million. Inspire the level 8 Grandmaster. Permanent. Priced at 200 million. Mental power controls things. Beginner. Priced at 500 million. I choose the level 8 fist. The 200 million yuan has already been deducted. Currently infusing the mecha memories of an 8th level fist master. Filling technique complete. A terrifying heat swept through Yi Chuan's entire body in an instant. Its bones cracked like a violent battle. His originally long muscles instantly tensed. Every inch of muscle fiber seemed to be compressed. A force powerful enough to shatter mountains. At this moment, the two assassins charging at the front instantly caught sight. Two high-frequency vibrating daggers gleaming coldly. One on the left, one on the right. Too slow, level 8, damn it. Yi Chuan didn't even throw a punch, just felt his shoulder sink slightly, then suddenly charged at the assassin on the left side with a command. A dull glow made my teeth ache. The assassin wearing Kevlar bulletproof vests and even fitted exoskeleton armor looked as if he had been struck by a tall vehicle. The head-on collision of the speeding high-speed train. His whole body was sent flying like a cannonball, smashing through a red brick wall by the roadside. The remaining 10 assassins suddenly slammed in. He stopped his steps, his eyes filled with shock. Captain Venomous roared furious in his ears. Rat-a-tat. Countless fire snakes sprayed instantly. Dense bullets poured down toward Yi Chuan like a torrential rain. But Yi Chuan moved. A movement technique blessed at level 8. He was like a ghostly bolt of lightning, weaving through a hail of bullets. The golden copper was unlocked to its extreme. The trajectory of every bullet. In his eyes, all were clearly visible lines. Bullets that can't be avoided. He even reached out directly. Yi Chuan's fingers moved as fast as lightning. He was actually in midair. He forced himself to load a bullet. Now it's my turn. Yi Chuan threw the bullet. His figure suddenly sprang up. The next 3 minutes, it was a one-sided massacre. Yi Chuan's figure, like the side of death, the place where the lock passes. Someone will surely fall. The strength of the level 8 fist. He pushed it to the extreme. Vertex axis. Prince Yang nodded 3 times. Ground-to-ceiling cannon. Every movement is simple and direct, yet it contains destructive power. The exoskeleton armor was in front of him, as fragile as paper. A killer tried to attack with a rocket launcher, but before he even pulled the trigger, Yi Chuan broke his arm with a single kick. The rocket launcher was held on the ground. With a boom, he stabbed the assassin into the sky himself. After the last assassin was kicked away by Yi Chuan, the entire neighborhood returned to dead silence. Yi Chuan stood in the center of the battlefield. The Armani suit he wore didn't even have a drop of blood on it, only in those deep eyes, burning with a golden flame that has yet to fade. He looked up, looking toward the top of the abandoned building. There's still one last big fish there. Top floor of the building. The serpent's hand trembled. He worked as a mercenary for 20 years. He has killed warlords in the Flying Brigade, oil and iron explosions in the Middle East. What kind of tough character haven't he seen? But like Yi Chuan, hold out for 3 minutes. A fully armed elite squad. He had never even heard of it. Retreat. Retreat immediately. The intelligence was incorrect. This is not an S-rank mission at all. This is an SSS-level suicide mission. Kuisha shouted wildly at his ears. Prepare to escape through the slide lock. Just as he turned around. Since we're here, aren't you going to stay and have a cup of tea? He suddenly pulled the Desert Eagle from his thigh. He turned around and fired a shot. The gunshots rang out, but Yi Chuan disappeared. The next second, the serpent felt a chill on its wrist. A sharp pain came. His right hand, along with the Desert Eagle, they all fell to the ground in unison. The cut is as smooth as a mirror, and right in front of him, Yi Chuan was playing with a thin piece in his hand. Rusty iron plate stained with blood. It was a fragment of an ILA can he had casually picked up from the ground, plucking a single leaf that drifts like a flower, all of which can be killed. The snake clutched its severed wrist, screaming in agony. He knelt on the ground. His eyes were filled with despair and fear. Don't kill me. I am the head of Black Mamba's Asia region. You killed me. The Black Mamba will hunt you to the ends of the earth. Yi Chuan looked down at him from above, like looking at an ant. Threaten me. Do you know what I hate the most? It's people threatening me with countless things I do. For example, money. Yi Chuan took out his phone. An interface opened. That was the dark gaze that the system had just unlocked. The heavenly eye connects the entire line. The Black Mamba secret organization. Headquarters located on a small island in the open sea. Subsidiary assets are about 30 billion US dollars. The current leader is codenamed Du Wang. True identity. He is the illegitimate son of a declining European noble. You. How do you know all this? This is top secret. System. Redeem the upgraded version of the world's top hacker God's Hand. Hacked into the Black Mamba headquarters account. Freeze all funds. Additionally, a new bounty notice was issued to all assassins. 3 seconds later, the communicator of the Quiver's trait. Suddenly, it shook violently. Not just him. At this very moment, more than 3,000 Black Mamba killers are distributed around the world. At the same time, a highest-level red directive was received. The highest selection and reward decree. Goal. Without a home or a whole clan. Key objectives. He had no sons, Xian, or his father, without any ornate appearance. Employer code, gold, bounty money, 1 billion US dollars. Additional clauses. Who can take the head of the uncarved face? Who will be the next leader of the Black Mamba? Current leader, and only the king himself. To prepare for the high-end gold, acquired for 50 billion US dollars. Currently organized, and renamed it Divine Punishment. Acquisition. Kuei Shinan found it hard to speak to himself. It feels like my worldview has collapsed. He never dreamed of this. Some people can directly buy out the assassin organization. How? I do not believe it. If you don't believe me, you can check your bank card. As a gift for our first meeting, I just gave it to every living killer. He paid a $1 million readdress fee. Kuish's phone rang. At that moment, the vengeful snake's gaze toward Yi Chuan changed. No longer fear. It was a fervent worship. Boss. He kowtowed fiercely. He banged the floor loudly. I have no eyes but no pearls. I am willing to go through fire and water for the boss. That old Wujiao cat. I'm going to kill him right now. Your hand is broken. He's become a cripple. I do not support useless people. The fierce snake's face was ashen. However, Yi Chuan changed the subject, saying, I have a pill here. Eat it and your hand will grow. And your strength will triple. Basic regeneration, sold for 50 million in the system mall. But this medicine is toxic. The antidote needs to be taken every 3 months. If you betray me, I eat. Without hesitation, the snake grabbed the pill and swallowed it. A miraculous scene unfolded. The snake's severed arm and flesh-like teeth writhed. It actually stopped bleeding and scabbed back at a speed visible to the naked eye. A miracle. A miracle. The snake wept bitterly. Yi Chuan turned around and walked toward the edge of the building, ready to clean up the corpses here. I won't, hopefully. We'll see any reports about gunfights in the news tomorrow, and also notify everyone. The Wu family. I'm going to play slowly. Don't kill me all at once. First, cut off their funding chain. If I cut off their connections, in the end, I'll make them kneel at the entrance of the Shen group and sought death but could not. After tonight, the Wu family will be completely expelled from the underground world. Yi Chuan leapt forward, directly. Jumping down from a 30-story building, he activated the newly exchanged anti-neutrality glider in midair. Like a giant black bird, the bat glided away into the night. Half an hour later, Shen Yunshu's private villa was brightly lit. In the living room, Shen Yunshu curled up on the sofa with a pillow in her arms. The TV was on, but he didn't pay attention at all. Tang Tang beside him was already asleep, tears still hanging at the corners of his eyes. Yi Chuan, please don't be harmed. Shen Yunshu pressed his palms together and prayed silently. Just then, the sound of a fingerprint lock unlocking came from the front door. Shen Yunshu suddenly sprang up, not even bothering to put on his shoes, and dashed barefoot toward the door. The door opened. Sorry. Came back late. Passing by the night market. Look at this crayfish shop, pretty good, so I bought a bit on the spot. Still the 13 spices. Yi Chuan. Shen Yunshu could no longer hold back his emotions and threw herself into Yi Chuan's arms, tightly hugging. His shirt was wet. Where are you going? Is that okay? Me. I heard the sound of the helicopter. Fool, didn't I say it before? Some dirt needs to be cleaned up. He looked up at the night sky outside the window, where the dark clouds had dispersed, revealing a bright moon. Afterwards, this night in Jiangcheng, I call the shots. No one will hurt you anymore. Yi Chuan, who exactly are you? Yi Chuan lowered his head and kissed away the tears at the corner of his eyes. I am your tycoon, and also your knight. Meanwhile, on the other side of the river city, at the Wu family's mansion, Wu Group's chairman Wu Jiamao was sitting in his study, anxiously waiting for good news. Why haven't you changed your mind yet? What is that useless snake doing? Wu Dingmao slipped the cigar into the ashtray. Suddenly, the study door was slammed open. The butler staggered in. His face was full of terror. Master. Something's wrong. Something big has happened. Why panic? Has the sky fallen? Wu Dingmao was furious and frightened. The butler trembled as he handed over a tablet. The sky really collapsed. Look. The dark web is full of bounties about our family. Our stock was just a moment ago. The stock plunged 90% in pre-market trading. There are also more than a dozen major shareholders of the company. Just now, they called to say they wanted to withdraw their shares. What? Wu Jiamao snatched the tablet. He only glanced at it. Suddenly, the world felt spinning. He spat out a mouthful of old blood. He saw the Dark King's homepage. Wearing his enlarged hood, below was a bloody stroke of writing. Hunt down the ignoring clan across the entire internet. A bounty of $1 billion. Who? Who did it? Wu Jiamao roared, like a frozen beast. At that moment, the phone in the study rang. It was an unfamiliar number. Wu Jiamao trembled as he took it. A voice came from the other end of the line. After voice alteration treatment. Yet the voice still carried endless chill. Wu Dongfei manga bar kills me. Enjoy this final night. Tomorrow when the sun rises. It was the end of the Wu family. The call ended. The receiver in Wu Dingmao's hand slipped away. She was lying soft on the chair. His gaze was hollow. Outside the window, the brilliant lights that once belonged to the Wu family belonged to the Wu family. At this moment, it seemed to become a guiding light leading to hell. Mornings in Jiangcheng are usually busy and orderly, but today, the air throughout the city is everywhere. There was a suffocating madness in the air. It all stems from that mysterious organization called Divine Law. The bounty posted last night on the dark web. $1 billion. This sum is enough to buy half a small African country. The global underground world was completely boiling over, ignoring the group headquarters building. This glass skyscraper once symbolized the top elite of Jiangcheng. At this moment, they were surrounded so tightly that not even a drop of water could pass. But the people gathered at the gate were not reporters, nor are they migrant workers demanding wages. Instead, it was a group of fierce eyes. An unknown individual with a bone burst in the lumber area. Top floor chairman's office. Wu Jiamao seemed to have aged 10 years overnight, collapsing into that million-yuan yellow flowerwood chair. His hair was messy, his eyes bloodshot, and he was holding only a satellite phone in his hand. Hey, Mayor Li. It's me, old Wu. I ask for nothing else. Please send someone to protect me. What? Wu Jiamao angrily smashed the satellite phone against the floor-to-ceiling window. With a bang, a white dot was left on the bulletproof glass, reflecting the impact. It shows the dense crowd below, resembling a wild roar. Just then, the heavy rosewood door inside the office was kicked open from outside, and the person walking in was the one who stepped in. The assassin, but his secretary. But at this moment, the female secretary who usually obeyed him completely was coldly holding a cardboard box. "Chairman Wu, this is your resignation letter." The secretary threw a piece of paper onto Wu Jiamao's face. "I've already printed it out for you. Additionally, everyone in the company's finance department has already left. You dare rebel. I'm the chairman, I'm not dead yet." "Chairman Wu, don't be naive. The current Wu Group stock, it has already become worthless. The bank froze all assets. Even the utility bills for this building. They've been in debt for 3 months. You are a negative asset right now. Who would have held the position of chairman?" After saying that, the secretary walked away without looking back. Before leaving, he even took it away, the pure gold pen holder on the table. "A lowly person, come back. Put down my coins." Wu Jiamao roared, trying to chase after him, but 2 burly men holding bodyguards blocked the way. That was the bodyguard he had paid a fortune to her. One of the bodyguards chewed gum. "Chairman Wu, save your effort. The 2 of us haven't left yet. It's because someone offered a higher price. Let us watch you. Don't let you kill yourselves." "Who is it?" The bodyguard said nothing, just turned to the side and respectfully made way. At the end of the corridor, a sound of delay came from the end. The sound of footsteps, the sound of leather shoes stepping on the marble floor, producing crisp clatters. Each step felt like stepping on the Wu family. The heartbeats of father and son, a young man wearing a deep blue custom suit. He was holding the arm of a cool and elegant beauty with an extraordinary aura. Xianteng, who strolled in. Behind him, following a large group of elite-suited elites, everyone was holding a bulletin in their hand. "It looks like a professional purchasing team. Good morning, Chairman Wu." Yichuan walked into the office. He glanced around at this space that was the pinnacle of luxury. Finally, his gaze fell on Wu Jiamao's deathly pale face. "This is the office of the richest man in Jiangcheng. His taste is a bit tacky." Yichuan casually picked up the golden cicada on the table. He shook it in disgust. Then, with a loud smack, he threw it into the trash. The black carved hat stared intently at the man in front of him. The hatred in his eyes was almost overflowing. "Yichuan. It's you. It's your bounty notice, you demon. What exactly do you want? Killing is no more than touching the ground with a head. What you're doing is illegal." Yichuan pulled over a chair. He invited Shen Yunshu to sit down. He himself lazily leaned against the edge of his desk. "Last night, when you sent assassins to kill me, why haven't you thought about posting it? Only Zhu Guan was allowed to set fire, and the common people were forbidden to light lamps." Yichuan snapped his fingers. A lawyer behind him stepped forward. "Open the official document newspaper." He took out a thick stack of documents. He spread it out in front of Wu Jiamao. "Wu Dong, let me introduce myself. I am Mr. Yichuan's chief legal representative. This is the Wu Group Comprehensive Asset Transfer Agreement. According to our calculations, Wu Group currently has debts of 23 billion yuan. Asset valuations are affected by force majeure. The current valuation is 5 billion. Originally, this was a company undergoing bankruptcy liquidation, but my boss, Mr. Yichuan, is kind-hearted, willing to invest in acquisitions. Acquisition. How much money are you willing to pay? As long as you are willing to withdraw the bounty, I'll give you this company. All of it is yours." Yichuan smiled. He held up a finger. 10 billion. Yichuan shook his head. 1 billion. The 5 eagle had gritted his teeth. Yichuan still shook his head. 100 million. The 5 carved hat's heart sank to the bottom of the valley. Yichuan put away his smile. "Grind a coin out of your pocket." It was a coin long out of circulation. Rusty penny coins. When the coin spun on the table, a harsh scraping sound was made. Finally, he fell in front of the 5 carved hat. "Buy all the assets accumulated by 3 generations of the Wu family, including this building. All the property, cars, and shares under your name. Even the suit you're wearing." Wu Diaomao spat out a mouthful of blood in anger. "The person is far too much." He pushed aside the table and rose. "Even if I burn all these things and roll them up for beggars, I won't give them to you." "Burned?" Yichuan's eyes turned cold. "You can give it a try. But let me remind you. The more than 3,000 bounty hunters downstairs were waiting anxiously. If I withdraw the fire orb command, guess how they would rush in?" Wu Jiamao froze instantly. Pulling the hat. I want to live. I don't want to die. Wu Zishuan broke down. He crawled over and hugged Wu Jiamao's leg, crying until his snot and tears left his body completely untouched. Looking at her son's pathetic state, the light in Wu Jiamao's eyes completely went out. Wu Jiamao trembled as he picked up the pen. Yi Chuan. At the moment of signing, he felt his soul being drained, a lifetime of struggle for the descent of the mountain, and so, at the price of 1 cent, he sold it to this delivery man he once considered an ant. Yunshu, give your gift. Do you like it? Yi Chuan picked up the signed contract. He handed it directly to Shen Yunshu behind him. Shen Yunshu held the heavy document. This was once a giant that nearly killed the Shen family. Now, he casually became the witch in his pocket. Yi Chuan. This is too valuable. Shen Yunshu felt it was somewhat unreal. Why are you talking about family matters? Besides, I can't be bothered with these lousy companies. From now on, you will be part of the Wu Group. Oh no. Now he was called the chairman of the Shen family's Tycoon First Branch. He slapped Wu Jiamao's shoulder. It was as if he were comforting a stray dog. All right. Don't look so dejected. To celebrate the success of the acquisition, I've decided to bring you two again. Go experience life. Experience what? Wu Jiamao had a bad premonition. Shopping. Yi Chuan gave a lucky gesture. System. Starting the humiliation of the tycoon is a consumption model. Detected that the host is running a high satisfying storyline. Mission release. Taking the former richest man shopping. Mission requirements. In front of the Wu father and son, they bought it all and once wanted to buy it, but hesitant to buy things, and forced them to be porters. An hour later, the largest luxury car dealership in Jiangcheng. Here you'll find the world's finest cars. This used to be the place where Wu Zishuan loved to show off, but every time he came, I only dare to look at those entry-level models costing several million. As for the very center of the exhibition hall, that one worth 120 million. Bugatti sounds of the night. He didn't even dare to touch it. But today, he came, but in the capacity of a porter. Wu Zishuan wore a torn shirt. Sweating profusely, they followed behind Yi Chuan. Wu Diao, on the other hand, looked like an old servant. He lowered his head slightly in a timid, Wu Xiao. Does this car look familiar? Yi Chuan pointed at the Bugatti. He looked at Wu Zishuan with a half smile. I heard you were last time for this car. I've been begging your dad for half a year. Your dad didn't buy it for you. Wu Zishuan swallowed hard. His eyes were full of longing and jealousy. Do you like it? I like it. If you like it, take a second look. Yi Chuan walked over to the car. He patted the car hood. Because from now on, you can only drive in your dreams. After speaking, Yi Chuan turned to look at the sales manager. Pay in full by card. No need to try the price. Just hand me the car keys. All right, Mr. Lin. The manager's hands were shaking with excitement. Yi Chuan borrowed the car keys. Then, under Wu Zishuan's desperate gaze, he casually tossed the keys to Brother Dao behind him. Knife, this car is yours. Next time, I'll go buy groceries and open this one. Don't drive that lousy Jinghua car. It's embarrassing. The whole room was honest. A 120 million Bugatti grocery truck given to the bodyguards. Brother Dao held the key. Tears streamed down her face. She immediately knelt before Yi Chuan. Boss, you are my second parent. From now on, my life belongs to you. At this moment, Wu Zishuan felt worse than eating food. The legendary car he had always dreamed of. Yi Chuan had casually given it to a thug. Don't rush, it's not over yet. Yi Chuan continued walking forward. That Rolls-Royce was bought. I bought that Ferrari Le War. The color is too flashy, so I sprayed it black. And those few Aston Martins, for the cleaning lady at my company. Each person is assigned one car to facilitate their commute. In just half an hour, Yi Chuan swept through the entire car dealership. Total consumption reached 800 million yuan. Wu Jiamao and Wu Zishuan followed behind. Her hands were filled with all kinds of luxury car giveaway car wraps, perfume. Exhausted like two dead dogs, every time Yi Chuan swiped his card, their hearts are drawn out once. Yi Chuan, please, don't bury me. We were wrong. Give us a quick win. Wu Jiamao finally collapsed, kneeling on the ground, wailing loudly. Yi Chuan stopped in his tracks, looking back at this father and son. Refreshing. Back then, you drove me out of the Yi family. Let me deliver food in the pouring rain. Have you ever given me a quick one? Yi Chuan's gaze, in an instant, it turned icy cold and bone-chilling. I said so. I will make you live but die but cannot live or die. Brother Dao, exist. Take these two useless people to the police station. Tell the director. He arranged a deluxe single room for them. He also found a few enthusiastic roommates to take good care of him. I heard young Master Wu has delicate skin and tender flesh. It should be very popular. Understood. Lin Xiao was reassured. I understand all the rules inside. Dao Jining smiled. Like a tow dog dragging the Wu father and son, they walked outside. Meng Yichuan, you can't do this. I'm your brother. Brother, I was wrong. Wu Zixuan's desperate screams echoed throughout the exhibition hall. Eventually, they gradually faded away. After dealing with the Wu family, Yichuan let out a long sigh of relief. Why are you unhappy? Shen Yunshu walked over to his side, gently linking arms with his. No, I just feel a bit bored. Yichuan looked outside the exhibition hall. The bustling streets. The Wu family collapsed too quickly. There's not a challenge at all. Shen Yunshu smiled. If someone else hears you say that, he was probably going to be beaten to death. That is the sky of the Wu family's Jiangcheng. Now the world has changed. Yichuan held his hand. Let's go. I'll take you somewhere. Where to go? Go check out your new office. Top floor of the Wu Group building. The scenery there is nice, suitable for romance and romance. Just as the two were about to leave, suddenly, Yichuan's phone rang. It is an encrypted number with no place of ownership. Yichuan frowned slightly. He answered the phone. On the other end of the line, an old yet powerful voice rang out. He carried an air of authority that had long held a high position. Young people. Yichuan narrowed his eyes. Who are you? I am Xiao. The old man said calmly. Important. It turned out he had hit the small one. The old ones have arrived. How? You want to issue a bounty too? Yichuan showed no sign of fear. Instead, he was a bit excited. Finally, a decent opponent has arrived. In the old man's voice. With a mocking remark. Young people, although you have some money, he also has some skill. But in the face of real power, money is just numbers. Military power is just brutes. I am the steward of the Liu family in the capital. My young master has the tycoon system in your hands. Oh no, it's about your ability to generate funds out of thin air. Very interesting. Yichuan's pupils contracted sharply. He knows the system. Here's some advice. The old man's voice continued. 3 days later, the Liu family would send people to Jiangcheng to take over the peaceful aftermath. Afterwards, I hope you can be a bit sensible. Hand over what you have in your hands. Otherwise, you'll find out what true despair is. The call ended. Yichuan stood where he was, holding his phone. He remained silent for a long time. The Liu family of the capital. That was the truly top-tier method for cooking. A legendary giant that controls the lifeblood of the national economy. Compared to the Liu family, the Wu family really is worse than a dog. And they seem to sense the system's presence. Yichuan. What's wrong? Whose phone is it? Shen Yunshu sensed something was wrong with Yichuan. Worried Q&A. Yichuan snapped back to reality. The heaviness in his eyes instantly faded. Instead, there are even more frenzied campaigns. It's nothing. An arrogant old man. Yichuan put his phone back in his pocket. Looking north, that was the direction of the capital. Cloud Book looks like our leisure time is over. The upcoming game might be a bit exciting. System. Yichuan silently recited in the letter. Detected signs of a world-class crisis in the host. System upgrade task triggered. Attack of the Tycoon Quest objective. Before the Liu family arrived, they would use their own power, wealth, military strength, and connections. Upgraded to Overlord level. Current rewards predict the future. One basic blueprint for the Science and Technology Military Factory. At this time, the recruitment order was issued. Can recruit 100 absolutely loyal Gene warriors. Unlimited capital flow model. Time limit 24 hours. All consumption, no matter the amount. Not only is there no deduction, on the contrary, it doubles the counterexample. Here the third reward. Yichuan smiled, laughing without restraint, laughing wildly. Endless flow, double the exception. The Liu family, right? Want to play economic blockade? Then I'll use the money. Take your Liu family's capital. A hole was smashed open. Yichuan took Shen Yunshu's hand. He strode toward the newly bought Bugatti vehicle. Let's go spend money. Tonight, I want to double the GDP of the entire Jiangcheng. The cruise ship, Caesar Palace. This is the venue for tonight's Century Charity Gala. Although nominally charitable, but in reality, it was a show of strength between Western capital and domestic comprador forces. The organizers were the Rothschild family, and the co-organizer boldly listed Jingcheng Lujia. This time, the specifications far surpass any before. The people coming and going were no longer the local bosses of Jiangcheng. Instead, It was a giant from Wall Street, European nobility, and the top 10 domestic protégés. When Yichuan was in that black Hongqi 19, when it stops at the end of the red altar, countless flashes lit up. Yichuan linked arms with Shen Yunshu, who was dressed in fine attire, and got out of the car. Shen Yunshu was wearing something tonight, a starry sky gown personally designed by Yichuan, future materials redeemed by the system. The hem of her skirt seemed to flow as she walked, as if the Milky Way was flowing. In an instant, he outshone all the Hollywood actresses and Ming Yuan present. This is that Yichuan. I heard he built a 6th-generation engine. Really? He offended the Rothschild and the Liu family. Tonight was probably his Hongmen banquet. The whispers and murmurs around him continued to chatter. Yichuan ignored it completely. He walked into the banquet hall with Shen Yunshu in a standstill. The banquet hall was lavishly resplendent and magnificent, but right in the center of the hall, there was a huge display stand. A red cloth was covered on top. Foreign bodyguards standing all around, armed with crane rifles and live ammunition. This was tonight's grand finale, and a cold voice came from beside them. Someone came through, and saw someone dressed in a sugar suit. A middle-aged man with 2 iron gallbladders in his hand walked over, followed by Liu Jiahao, who wore a face full of hatred and gang. Henry was just started by Yichuan. This middle-aged man was none other than the Liu family's second-in-command, Liu Jiahao's uncle, known as the Smiling Tiger, Liu Chengyuan. Mr. Lin, I have long admired your great reputation. Liu Chengyuan forced a smile but cupped his hand without a smile. I am Liu Chengyuan. I heard about my useless nephew. You've taken good care of me in Jiangcheng. Not really taking care of them, Yichuan said calmly. He only helped fix his car, and also taught him some principles of being a good person. The Liu family eagerly tried to rush forward. Liu Chengyuan stopped him. Young people, being quick-witted is a good thing, but some things can't be kept by words. Liu Chengyuan pointed to that booth. Tonight's auction. Mr. Henry specially prepared it for you. I hope your wallet is as hard as your breath. After speaking, the 3 of them let out a meaningful laugh. He turned and walked toward the VIP seats. What do they want to do? Shen Yunshu had a bad premonition. Whatever they want to do. Yichuan's eyes were fierce. Tonight, they won't be able to take a single cent with them. The dinner began. After a lengthy speech, the main event, the auction, has finally arrived. The first few items were all jewelry and calligraphy, although it is quite valuable. But Yichuan didn't make a move. He was waiting for that so-called grand finale. Finally, Henry stepped onto the auction stage. Henry's face was filled with a sense of vengeance. All eyes locked onto Yichuan in the audience. The last lot of the night. It's a piece lost overseas for a century, a national treasure of a lower country. He suddenly lifted the red cloth. The whole crowd gasped in surprise. Inside the display case was a statue stained with dirt, yet it still bore a majestic bronze dragon head. That was the most mysterious in the hands of the salespeople of the Yuan Mingyuan era and the 12 voices. The dragon hand that remains missing to this day. This dragon hand, it was our family in that war 100 years ago. Loot obtained from the loot. Henry deliberately emphasized the word spoils of war. This was for every person from the lower country present. It was all blatant humiliation. Starting bid is 1 billion USD. Each markup must not be less than 100 million yuan. Henry looked at Yichuan provocatively. Mr. Lin, I heard you are a patriotic businessman. Now is the time to prove your patriotism. If you don't buy it, this dragon hand will be sent to the museum tomorrow. Permanent chapter marked as the sword of conquering the East. The merchants from the lower countries in the audience erupted in excitement. No delay. This is robbery. Too arrogant. This is a slap in our face. Everyone's eyes were fixed on Yichuan. This is a deadlock. Buying means being dominated. Written for Western capital. Not buying it is doing things that humiliate the national treasure. His reputation ruined and his reputation shattered. Member Lu sneered from the side. Yichuan, why not bid? What about your unlimited funds? Where's your patriotism? Don't be a coward. Yichuan slowly stood up. He straightened his suit buttons. He calmly looked at Henry on stage. 1 billion US dollars. Yichuan raised the number sign in his hand. I put in 10 billion. The entire Zhong system was shut down. 10 billion US dollars. Even Henry was stunned. He originally only wanted to scam Yichuan for tens of billions. Unexpectedly, this guy increased tenfold. Yichuan, go ahead and flip it. Shen Yunshu grabbed his sleeve. That was a trap set by these bandits. The money was given to them. They turned things around. Don't worry. Yichuan patted his hand. Whether to give or not isn't up to them. Henry on stage realized. His heart was filled with wild joy. With this $10 billion, the family's crisis can not only be resolved, and you can make a big profit. 10 billion times a time. 10 billion twice. Deal. Henry couldn't wait to blow. Mr. Lin, please transfer the money immediately. We only accept timely payments from the SWIFT system. He had already arranged it long ago. As soon as Yi Chuan's funds entered the SWIFT system, he would use his authority to swallow the money first, then freeze transactions under the banner of anti-money laundering. In the end, the national treasure was not given. The money was not refunded. This is the highest level of hooliganism. Yi Chuan took out the black card. He handed it to the staff member who had just walked back. The big screen displayed the transfer interface. Just as everyone held their breath, waiting for that astronomical number to swipe, suddenly, the big screen flickered. It turned a blood-red expanse. Warning, deal failure. Error code 404. Your bank has been acquired. What? Henry was dumbfounded. What does it mean for banks to be acquired? This is Atlantic United Bank. It is our family's own bank. Yi Chuan stood in the audience, hands in pockets. He flashed a radiant smile. Sorry, Mr. Henry, just 1 minute before the auction started. This $10 billion, in the secondary market of the US stock market, the deal with Atlantic United Bank was completed. Forced bid to buy. That is to say, Yi Chuan pointed at the pose machine. I'm using my own money now. In my own bank, left hand to right hand, and you, as a former shareholder of this bank, because of suspected major financial fraud and misappropriation of savings funds. Yi Chuan snapped his fingers. The banquet hall door was smashed open. A group of people dressed in Interpol uniforms rushed in. A leading officer, holding a red wanted notice. Henry Rothschild, you are suspected of manipulating the stock market, money laundering and commercial fraud. Arrested. What? No, that's impossible. Henry looked at the police charging forward. Complete collapse. I am Rothschild. I have the right to broad faces. Mr. Liu. Save me. Mr. Liu. He looked at Member Liu. However, by this time, Member Liu's face was already ashen. He sat in his chair, not daring to move because he felt it. There are several red laser aiming points. It was locked tightly between his brows. That was the Shadow Legion's sniper. Yi Chuan waved his hand. Henry was dragged down like a dead dog. That dragon hand was left on the stage. Yi Chuan walked up to the stage. He lifted the heavy bronze dragon hand with one hand. Spoils of war. Yi Chuan looked down at the audience. Those foreign capitalists with empty pockets. The voice exploded like thunder. From today onward, offense and defense are all about this. Something that belongs to us. I will bring them back one by one, whether buying or rushing. The audience erupted in thunderous applause and cheers. Countless merchants from overseas countries were moved to tears. At this moment, the pent-up frustration that had been bottled up for a century finally burst out. Shen Yunshu looked at the radiant man on stage. His eyes were full of obsession. This is his man, single-handedly fighting against the world, and you can still win. However, just as the crowd was cheering, in Yi Chuan's mind, suddenly, an unprecedented system notification sounded. Detected host completing the old capital achievement. The system is undergoing its ultimate upgrade. Upgrade complete. Tycoon System version 3.0. The unmet sovereign has already been activated. Unlock new features. Waymian Mall is no longer limited to Earth technology. Open Level 1 Cosmic Civilization Technology. Antimatter Energy. The industry is opened by genes. Space folding technology. Dominating the domain. Within 100 meters of the host. Absolute right to modify physical rules. Like gravity doubling. Time stood still for a second. The final mission begins. A global purge of financial tycoons. Yi Chuan looked at these new features. The golden light in his eyes surged. Even the surrounding air overflowed with energy, resulting in visible ripples, and is not exempt from dominance. Just then, Member Liu suddenly stood up. He looked at Yi Chuan, but not only was there no fear. Instead, he revealed a strange smile. Yi Chuan. Brilliant. It's truly wonderful. Member Liu clapped his hands, slowly walking toward Yi Chuan. It seems the boat farm is real. You really have that thing on you. Originally, our Liu family wanted to spare your life. It's a tool for making money, but now it seems, you've grown to the point of being out of control. Member Liu took out a black remote control from his pocket. Do you know what this is? This cruise ship Caesar Palace. We have already buried 3 tons of liquid explosives. Let me press down. No matter how much money you have, no matter what hacking skills you have, will be reduced to ashes in an instant. Yi Chuan, hand over your system, or let the elite of this ship be, and the woman you love. I'll take you down with me. The cheers from the crowd abruptly stopped. Shen Yingshu's face turned deathly pale. Fengzi. Innocent. Lu Chengyuan laughed wildly. Those who accomplish great things do not fuss over trivial matters. As long as he could get the tycoon system, let alone a few hundred people, even if half die and become human, it's worth it. Yi Chuan knelt down, stripped the system away. Otherwise, I'll just press it. Lu Chengyuan's finger, it was mounted on the red button. Yi Chuan looked at him. It's like watching a clown jumping around. Time stands still. Yi Chuan gently traced 4 words. Domination domain opened. Time stood still for a second. The rise and fall of the waves. Even the movements of Lu members' fingers pressing down were all frozen in that instant. Night transmission is moving. He felt as if he was strolling through a backyard. He leisurely walked up to member Lu. He reached out to take the remote control from his hand, then slapped Lu across the face with a backhand, and time resumed. Member Lu suddenly felt his vision blur and the remote control in his hand disappeared. Immediately, a sharp pain shot through half his face. He spun around 3 times like a spinning top, and several teeth mixed with blood flew out. Member Lu covered his face, looking in terror at Yi Chuan, who was fiddling with the remote a few meters away. You make people ghosts. How did you do it? What is meant to happen? Water shifts. Yi Chuan crushed the remote, and the fragments fell quickly. I have said that in this realm, I am God. Yi Chuan walked up to the Lu member, looking down at the once arrogant second-in-command of the Lu family. The Lu family should come to an end. Tonight, this ship won't sink, but the Lu family's broken ship will sink. Tonight's banquet continued, but the next episode was the trial. Collaborating with foreign forces, intending to assassinate meritorious officials, placing bombs in public housing. The evidence is conclusive. Long Yi, exist, throw him down, feeding the fish, yes, no? Yi Chuan, you dare. I'm from the Lu family. My eldest brother is, thud. A tremendous crash of water falling. This ended all the shouting of members Lu. The river water was icy cold. The depths were unreachable. Just like Yi Chuan's eyes at this moment. He looked north. The Lu family's last trump card was gone. Next, they should head to the capital. Collect that biggest debt. Shen Yingshu walked over to his side. She held his hand tightly, although his palm was still trembling, but his gaze was unwaveringly resolute. I'll go with you. Yi Chuan held his hand in return, looking at the dragon hand in his hand, which represented royal authority. All right, we need to go get it back. It's not just about justice. There is also a new era that belongs to us. Late autumn in the capital. The air was bleak and solemn. The Lu family residence is located at the foot of the Western Hills. This site has witnessed the rise and fall of 3 dynasties. Amidst countless power struggles, a massive fog that stood firm and unyielding. Today, however, he was shrouded in an unprecedented fear. The sky was overcast and overcast, hanging so low it seemed within reach. The Lu family was listening in the main hall. The atmosphere was extremely oppressive. The current head of the Lu family. Once I stomped my foot. This would make the capital shake. The 6-crown-old man 3 times over. At this moment, he was sitting upright in the Grand Master's chair, but the 2 lion's head walnuts in his hand that he'd been spinning for half his life. It had already been crushed to powder. Below him, kneeling before Lu Jiahe, who had just escaped back, and on both sides of the hall, 7 or 8 people sat with restrained aura. The old man with prominent temples. These people are the Lu family's heritage. Lu Shiba missed the mark. Each one is a legendary figure in the ancient martial arts world. Grandpa, second uncle was thrown into the river to feed the fish. Lu Jiahe was still trembling uncontrollably all over. Lu Guan swung his cane with a backhand. Damn it. And to inspire others' ambitions, avoid showing off your own authority. Lu Guan stood up, although he was over 80 years old, but that murderous aura unleashed from the mountain of corpses and sea of blood, still chilling. Demonic magic. Where would such a demonic magic come from in this world? It's nothing more than some unknown, ultra-high-tech technology. He looked around. His gaze was as sharp as an eagle's wound. Our Lu family has stood firm in the capital for 100 years. He had seen all kinds of storms and storms. Back then, the 8-nation alliance couldn't wipe out the Lu family even in the Forbidden Nation. He was a nouveau riche himself. Why should I send my family's order? Lu Guan suddenly squatted down with his cane. The floor tiles shattered instantly. Activate the Skynet defense system. That's about 20 billion we spend. Laser defense arrays purchased from Western Blackwater companies. It can even intercept cruise missiles. The masses obeyed orders to guard the inner courtyard, as long as that ye dared to step through the gate. Lawfully kill on sight. A trace of mad determination flashed in Lu Guan's eyes. Release that thing from the forbidden area behind the mountain. Since he wanted to use non-human means, then let me show him. What is a real monster? Hear that thing? The 8 grandmasters present at Jichuan all changed their expressions at the same time. A deep sense of apprehension flashed in his eyes, even fear. At that moment, above the 9 heavens, suddenly, a dull thunderclap rang out. But this thunder didn't sound like natural thunder. It actually feels more like a superstar engine. The gloom produced by pressing the atmosphere at low altitude. Everyone in the Lu family's old residence instinctively rushed out of the hall, looking up at the sky. The next second, everyone's pupils suddenly contracted. Thick dark clouds hang overhead. It was as if by an invisible giant hand. It tore open a huge hole. One was pitch black, a giant flying vehicle shaped like a sharp sword, silently hovering above the Lu family estate. It blocks out the day, casting a huge shadow over everyone's heart. No propellers, there are no fuzz holes. It just floats quietly like that. It defies all physical common sense. It was the interstellar shuttle exchanged in the system shop. The heavenly law is called the beggar edition for the people, although it's the beggar version, but it was used to intimidate the indigenous people of Earth. That was enough. What is this? Lu Jiahao sat on the ground. The whole place was taken away. He was Yi Chuan's ride. It's an alien. He really is an alien. Lu Guan's hand was moving as well, but he still forced himself to hold on. He shouted into the walkie-talkie. Air defense faction, open fire. Bring him down for me. The rockery surrounding the Lu family compound suddenly cracked. The sci-fi laser turrets are revealed. And 6 air defense missile launchers. Flames shot up into the sky. 6 heat-seeking missiles trailed long-tail smoke. The black giant ship roared into the sky. Immediately after, the 4 high-energy laser trees also resembled the Grim Reaper's lightsabers. It stabbed directly into the ship's belly. This was Lucia's final palm strike. It also has enough firepower to destroy a modern armored stone. However, facing a catastrophic attack, that black spaceship, he didn't even activate his shield, only in the crew position. A faint blue glow lit up. System instructions. Enable physical rule correction. Kinetic energy is eliminated. A strange scene unfolded. Those 6 missiles flying at triple the speed of each other. When they were still 100 meters from the spaceship, suddenly, it was like fireworks running out of fuel. Speed instantly dropped to 0. Just like that, it was carried straight and fell from free fall. The missile landed on the open ground of the Lu family compound, on the rockery. In the fish pond, a violent explosion. In an instant, it swallowed up the Lu family's air defense position. As for those 4 laser beams, shot onto the surface of the spaceship, it was like a flashlight on a mirror. It was directly refracted back. For laser turrets, in an instant, his laser melted him into a pile of molten iron. Just one encounter. The Lu family's proud 10 billion yuan defense line. It self-destructed. The smoke and dust dispersed. The Lu family was utterly resentful. Everywhere were ruined cliffs and wailing bodyguards. Lu Guan stood at the entrance of Zhongyi Hall, his face covered in dust. His eyes were vacant. The Skynet he was so proud of. And just like that, it was gone. Just then, the bottom of the spaceship in the sky slowly opened a hatch. 2 figures. He leapt down from 1,000 meters in the air. No parachutes, no gliders. It's free fall. Madman. That is suicide, a master of the Lu family exclaimed. But when he was still 10 meters above the ground, the 2 gentlemen suddenly moved against inertia. Then it lightly fell to the ground. Not even a speck of dust on the machine. Yi Chuan also had Shen Yunshu. Yi Chuan was dressed in a black sewn shirt. Inside was the same casual suit he had worn in Jiangcheng. Meanwhile, Shen Yunshu changed into a crisp white tactical suit. He was holding the box containing the dragon's hand. The 2 stood side by side, standing in the center of the ruins of the Lu family estate. Like a pair of divine artifacts descended to the mortal world. It was old Master Yi's first meeting. Yi Chuan looked up, looking at Lu Guan, who seemed to have aged 10 years in an instant on the steps. A faint smile appeared at the corner of his mouth. The commotion at this meeting is pretty decent, right? Lu Guan pointed at Yi Chuan. He was so angry that blood filled his throat. Yi Chuan, this is the capital. It is right beneath the emperor's feet. You dare to openly use heavy weapons to attack a private residence. You're rebelling. Sichuan was greedy and greedy. Old man, Are you seeing things? It's clearly your Lu family secretly hiding counterfeit prohibited weapons. Improper operation. A report of the lesson has occurred. I am a warm-hearted citizen. They came especially to put out the fire. As he spoke, Yi Chuan snapped his fingers. Long Yi sent the video to the security bureau. Everything that happened, it had long been taken by the spaceship. The holographic camera captured it. Indeed, it was the Lu family who fired first. Then the missile fell on its own, blowing yourself up. Yi Chuan didn't even move a finger. You, shameless. Lu Guan was trembling with anger. Compared to what your Lu family has done, I'm still far from that. Yi Chuan's expression turned cold. Step forward. Above, it couldn't be pulled out. Kill him for me. Lu Guan roared. Those 8 grandmasters who had been watching closely, they exchanged glances. Although Yi Chuan's entrance was quite intimidating, but the dignity of being a dancer, they don't believe it. There are mortals in this world who cannot be killed. Kid, don't be so arrogant. I am an old man with iron-killing palm. A burly elder roared angrily. Stepping on floor tiles, his figure shot toward Yi Chuan like a cannonball. A pair of iron-black hands. With a sense of excitement, I shot directly at the top of Yi Chuan's head. That single palm was enough to open the back and hunt corpses. Yi Chuan didn't even glance at him. System capability multiplied by gravity. Kneel 100-fold. Yi Chuan uttered 2 words in his heart. The Grandmaster still suspended in midair. His body suddenly felt as if an invisible mountain was pressing down on him. There was no room for resistance. He was in an extremely brutal state. He slammed hard onto the ground. Not a cabinet. It's smashing. His kneecap shattered instantly. A deep pit was smashed into the ground. He looked like a sticker stuck to the bottom of the pit. Fainted. The whole place fell into dead silence. The remaining 7 grandmasters fought their way out with all their might. He watched the scene with a face full of terror. Setting out with the eye. What kind of state is this? Is there a land immortal? Still going up? The ring piercing also takes a week. I don't mind turning this place into a morgue. The 7 grandmasters looked at each other in distant faces. Suddenly, with perfect understanding, they stepped back. Then he turned and ran away. What a joke. This clearly shows that humans cannot resist before, although good, but life is more important. A bunch of useless fools. Lu Guan watched the scattered and fleeing worshippers. He was so angry he almost lost his mind. At this moment, Yi Chuan had already reached the steps of Shengyi Hall. He didn't go straight in. He waved to Shen Yunshu behind him. Yunshu, give him the stuff. Shen Yunshu stepped forward, placed the box on the ground and opened it. That majestic bronze dragon hand, lying quietly inside. It was as if his gaze was scrutinizing this decaying family. Lu Guan. Yi Chuan's voice was cold as ice. This thing was originally your Lu family colluding with outsiders. A tool meant to humiliate the people. Now I've brought it back. Putting it here is not forgiving. Instead, I want to tell you a lesson. Yi Chuan stepped onto the steps, forcing me to try the Lu cap. The dragon is meant to be revered, not for sale. Your Lu family isn't worthy of living in this courtyard. Lu Guan looked at the dragon hand. She then looked at Yi Chuan, who was closing in step by step. The fear in his eyes finally turned into desperate madness. All right. Lu Guan let out a strange laugh, like a late-night snack. Yi Chuan, you think you've won. You think that having high technology means you can rule everything. You simply don't know the truth of this world. Lu Guan suddenly pulled one out of his pocket. A black drum whistle engraved with strange runes. Blowing fiercely, the piercing whistle instantly pierced through the entire back mountain. Immediately after, the earth began to shake. A disgusting, foul-smelling tail emerging from the realm behind the mountain. A flying man's roar echoed through the sky. Suddenly, the wall behind the mountain collapsed with a crash. One was at least 3 meters tall. Its entire body is covered in black scales. A humanoid monster with blood-red eyes, kneeling on all fours. Like an out-of-control tank, it charged out. In the borderlands, the grass and trees wither. The floor tiles were corroded. At this moment, Shen Yunshu's expression changed. Mythical monster. Yi Chuan, let's see for ourselves. Lu Guan laughed wildly. This is the ultimate weapon the Freemasons gave me. Tyrant.